Good. I'm going to do one more. One more. How things work up north. I just labeled that last one, how things work down south. I'm going to do the one that works up north. It's interesting. Yes, I've heard about things like this before. It's outright A equals A always up north. Lake County, for sure. For sure. And I wouldn't go into Cook County. Absolutely not. I will not. I will not. No, no. I just because. I have never sensed such serious boundary violations by predatory special interests. I didn't know what it was. You think I haven't trusted servants of Congress anymore, achieving a maximum potential? And on top of that, I don't know whether or not there's immunity or not. Honestly, it appears to me as nothing more than a bunch of whirling legal, American bar, legal special interest, medical special interest. I can't find anything that even resembles achieving any success in anything. Unbelievable. And I expect just more of the same. No, I've completely lost my trust. To me, the special interests, the two parties have wiped out $250,000, and look at the situation I'm in. And of course, it always leads back to, no, it doesn't lead back to that up north. The truth will always come out up north. Everything taken in consideration. Now, regardless of the partnering up aspect, I must forewarn you, I have a feeling that's gone on in that family for quite a few decades, so just so you know, still, you don't do that to someone. Of course I trusted him. He clearly did what he stated. He's not going to admit it. He's going to try to hide it. You think he's going to, of course it's going to be nothing but endless maneuvers. I'm sure they'll get an attorney and do everything, but you can't change what I retained that prove it. The only way he gained control over me is because I related to the experience I gained up and down the Chicagoland North Shore, from 1986 through 2001. And obviously, if you are under the influence, and listen up for anybody who just does a little partying out there, sure, I did trust him. There was no reason for me not to trust him. I knew him before. I knew him a long time ago. And there was nothing in our past for him to do anything like that. And so I guess he led me to believe it's in context and that type of professionalism. And the next thing I realized, it's all partying. I didn't know it, though. I didn't know any of that. It was drugs. Until now he has a little bit of explaining to do. I'm sure I don't know anything about anything that actually goes on in that family. I do have a hint, though, by what I have. And that kind of stuff I would have nothing to do with. If I come across somebody like that, I would not. So I guess it is considered that he, he wanted to help me out. And then he laughs hysterically. Unbelievable. That's sick. And he will do everything in survival, sacrificing me. I'm sure he'll say, oh, it's mental illness or something like that. Or he'll make up some other lie, one maneuver after that. You still can't change the evidence that I've retained where he would get caught in those lies. That I'm sure of. I'm sure of. So I guess it is all about partnering up. And I think anyone knows that someone who, and I didn't know it until after the fact, the way things work up north is exactly towards the intended purpose to serve. I'm all out to continue on with a successful career. That's most important. What's true about a normal, healthy, balanced lifestyle. That's all I know. And so that's exactly what I'm requesting. God only knows how. I am only responsible for me unless there's ulterior motives or some other factor that is completely out of relevance. And that is honestly what did happen. The honest truth is, the best I could make of it with that experience was seeking a PhD in vocational psychology, because that's where it left off. And the basis is all logical, just as much as me heading back up north now. You don't have to question the basis on me. This is not a disorder. It's not abnormal psychology. It's none of that. It's just who I am, and I will be thoroughly honest. Why do you think I invested this absolute time in absolute survival here? I'm able to go back up north with, I don't know anything about legalities. This is not something I would ever want to know about, the most predatory medical and falsifying medical records of perjury. And yes, absolutely. Absolutely. The most serious of serious. I question whether or not at the highest level of ethics and EQ, legal department, whether it's even legal or not. I'm sure it's teetering. And see, that seems to be very common down here. Up north, it's considered trash, that kind of conduct. It's never acceptable. I don't care how high level. It's outright never would be acceptable. These would be considered a bunch of, sorry, I'm not even going to say it. I'm going to say, no, I do not have any trust in any manner that entrusts the servants of Congress that will have to be earned back again. And as far as giving a helping hand, never would I trust the United Way. Never. Absolutely not. And with a reason. I'm a very reasonable person that does forgive. But especially the highest level of expertise of professional management, it is beyond belief. If this is professional management of our country, I will go back up north where I've heard about absolutely crazy stuff like this going on all along over the decades. And when it was the worst and everything was falling apart with our species' habitat and juicy fruit crisis, which is just a reciprocal exchange, we were fine at 1% poverty. I heard about it's one maneuver after the next. No, I have absolutely, you would think that there would be an emphasis, whatever way that experience or expertise is gained to create success. If you don't have it, you may have to seek education or some other avenue to be able to gain that experience. But once you have it, where's the investment in we the people to create that success or experience? I'm not a policymaker. I just know what I've experienced virtually my entire life as an incorporated norm up north. And it doesn't take that much expertise or experience. What's missing, though, is any initiative to create any success. You may get, it may be based on some, theories, and very basic, really. When you look at what's being covered of the substance and education, it's not very much. It's not very much for the amount of time that's invested in that respect. If that were to be utilized optimally, that time investment, that really isn't that much substance. I do not understand how whether it's special interests or how the highest level of wisdom becomes a factor in that respect. I would expect it to be professionally managed, but what I've seen here, even getting the highest level of wisdom from the same context is absolutely impossible. It's so corrupt. And also with felonies and among other goodies as far as, so I take it that you must have expertise or experience. And for me, I was extremely fortunate to gain. Most people are not able to go into a top graduate business management environment and gain that experience a couple of thousand times. But they wanted to give me a hand to create success. And I come down south here, and it's all predatory, all of the most serious, when none of it is, and on and on and on. I expect this not to, I have zero trust in anything as far as professional management anymore. You'd have to earn it back. And I understand up north, everything will be taken in consideration. And I will stay the hell out of Cook County. I will not, I find this to be absolute. I do believe the truth will always come out, including me. I will certainly cooperate, though it's a misdirected investment of the resources of what is optimum. However, this is most unhealthy, and all I can do is say I'm sorry. And I know up north the truth will always come out. And you know the entire basis now. You won't have to try to figure out that basis. You know exactly what happened. I do not touch drugs, and neither would I believe I could be affected in that context. Yes, I'm a very trusting individual that really looks that most people have good intentions and they wouldn't harm you with ulterior motives. I've had an outstanding experience right after high school from that point forward, especially what happened as far as what I gained through career experience. That is the biggest factor that instilled that for the rest of my life. So that's basically, 25 years worth almost. I mean, well, no. That specific experience is plenty. It's a plenty to believe that these kind of crazy things that are completely out of context is an incorporated norm, completely. That's how I could look at the professional management of the country. It's hard to believe. When things like that happen up north, I don't know how much is really going on. I just have to say at this point, as far as the professional management of this country, I've gone to a great big F. It's not even worth following any of the sociology influence. I'm sure there's a tremendous amount of influence out there to instill beliefs. And unfortunately, I would say I only know the honesty and integrity up north, and I say it's nothing that influence. It's a dizzying array. I'm sure it's sociology. Very powerful. I understand actually possibly propaganda. I spent very little time, if any, I guess knowing about the world around me in that respect. It's not worth it. I wouldn't have to question that if I was in Chicagoland, North Shore, or local events and that kind of stuff. I've never experienced any, and I don't think anyone. So it still falls on me, though. I'm the one that's responsible. However, there's other participants, and I expect full accountability. I do have to forewarn you, though. I'm sure that's what I've seen leaking out a little bit as far as partnering up. There's plenty more. God only knows, and that's something I couldn't believe could happen 600 miles away. Well, it has. And obviously I am going to now, I don't want to harm anyone, and I don't see the point of punishment. It's still between only ourselves, and I'm going to expect the partnering up help to materialize. Because I'm going to need a hand in that respect, and that's what it was based on. Oh, he'll everything. I expect this to get very serious by the time it's said and done, to make him keep well on his partnering up aspect. Honestly, I wouldn't believe that could happen to me. No, I would never party or touch any of that stuff. Anyone out there thinking of just doing a little partying, take this as a prime example though, and I'm 600 miles away. 3.5 years worth. Yeah. In any event, it looks like I got to be out of here in the next couple of hours, and it looks like I'm going to leave this. I'm going to walk away. I'm going to walk away. I'm just going to walk away. I don't see the corruption or medical or pharmaceutical corruption ceasing down here. I've been at it to trying to get a lousy PhD in vocational psychology. You can't get it. You cannot get from the highest level of wisdom. And so you try to adapt, you accept, you do everything in your power. And I can't tell you how many times I've submitted my resume and spoke to people, everything. I've contacted those temporary employment agencies 5, 10 times. Oh, there's nothing like this down here. Are you kidding me? Of course there is. And listen, in that amount of time, I really worked my tail off. Now, there was no reason to contact the college, Lake County, because I'm not up north anymore. And that was just recent as a validation. It is absolutely impossible down here. You'll find the most powerful medical dictating a norm, and you certainly will. And everything, it doesn't matter whether or not it's created, they will create it. And I look at that and I understand, yes, this and legal is the real power arm down here. It has to do with, I understand, I don't ever want to know anything about medical again. It's obvious what my reaction is in that respect. It's predatory. That's not help. The help to get to professional career counseling, you can't get it. Too busy a feeding farm of a bunch of criminal activity or teetering close enough to it by the time it's said and done. Nobody knows about anything creating any success because it's a dizzying array and everything all of a sudden becomes ulterior motives. But when you really come down to it, you might get some elementary theories again to build back on. I'm sorry, that 40 years experience doesn't just disappear. It's still there. And it's been there ever since I gained it. I understand I'm a business professional, so I'm going to have to obviously get myself out of this situation and head back up north and hope that the predatory medical does not become the focus again. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that you check me out, and I would be interested, though. You can pull out a theory and make it that it has those criteria according to the DSM. It's the basis what matters, though. That's really what does matter, is the basis of how that happened. That does not solve anything. And I have no history of that. I have to explain myself and be as honest as I can be, and I'm doing it right now. Yes, it was a professional career counseling, that's the honest truth. And yes, I really did believe it was in context exactly what I've stated. And then I have gone through quite an experience, to say the least, of what is only A becomes yes. And I tend not to do the best when that happens. I am stable though. And I am someone that by my past, this does not equate and become, I would seek some individual counseling if absolutely necessary. And so, it happened that way. I've learned it and experienced it. Now I can relate about it. You can see by my reaction. Am I someone? And what I've stated, I think anybody, and the thing is, how could it happen? Well, down here, this is obviously an incorporated norm. Very much so. It's completely out of control. And yes, when you hear about medical and the most serious perjuries and felonies, I don't know how much that goes on in Cook County. But I know down south here, it's a feeding farm, and I didn't even know what a special interest was. I wouldn't want to know about things like this. You earn a living, a career, a healthy content, normal, healthy, balanced lifestyle. Like, it's been true throughout my life. And you come down here, and I guess $250,000 is nothing for the special interest. It's infinite. Ever-increasing profits. I have never seen such unbelievable ethics. I'm ready to take on the legal and ethics department of some of these powerful special interests. What's even the point? There's people out there that pursue that. I am looking very forward to getting back up north. The basis is, I'm tired of felonies. I'm sure it's going to be perjuries. Yes, that's going to be a very challenging aspect. I may, if the resources are able to be channeled correctly, I would forgive that individual who wanted to partner up. I don't want to harm anyone, but I would say what he's done is pretty doggone serious, though. And no, I'm someone who does not want to harm anyone. I've never been a person that would want to ever harm anyone. I'm even willing, as you've heard it head on. That's me. That's how I've been for years, decades. If those resources are able to be channeled, where I'm back among very successful clientele, as far as particularly in business success, as I have in the past, I may be able to be directly in contact, creating sex in a solid career again, I would completely forgive this individual who happened to want to partner up. Now, obviously, I have a feeling, though, it's going to become a factor of a whirling farm of a punishment. And I really have no interest for those for people to profiteer in that respect. But if need be, I guess it could become an explanation why I'm deviating from the norm, homeless out in Deerfield. So I guess maybe this is going to happen. It's not something I'd want to do. The truth always comes out, though. Extremely detrimental. Something like this, I'm still responsible for who I am. I'm soon going to be up north again. I'm ready to lose everything. I've gotten so much help, but I can't find any help. You've heard of me repeat it at least God knows how many times. Thank you. Yes, now the truth absolutely will come out. I've shared it all along, though. Someone just needs to get down with a piece of paper and a pen. I promise you I will always be honest. No, there's not defense mechanisms kicking in. No. A little numbing, yeah. Yeah, I have a little bit of numbing here. I think it's very much, considering I will lose everything, thanks to all the help. You can't. It's outrageous. It's absolutely outrageous. in any event, I don't know what's going to happen here. I know that it would be unheard of for something like this to happen to someone with the background and experience that I've had. I understand it's not psychological, nor is it medical. Now down here, that's all it is, of the most serious one. Up there, I absolutely believe the truth will come out. And what I've stated as far as my career experience, I'm telling the honest truth. Where is the initiative to create any success? There's no reason to waste that experience. And so, the truth will come out. I thank God I did keep those business records, though. All of that would be medical, too. I wouldn't believe that. I was always scanning those files to substantiate everything, so I could substantiate it. I wish I kept the couple of thousand, actual hard copies that I mentioned earlier. I had, as I mentioned, this will be the last time I'm going to be able to show this. This was filled. That was absolutely filled, packed. I'm guessing there were 3,000 of them. It's a little bit thinner than this. This manila folder is a little thinner than that. I guess there was 3,000 that fit in there. That's how many that I was able to make contact with. And many of them, it turned out that we got to know each other very well as an acquaintance, as a professional acquaintance. And I understand that experience occurring in that type of environment. Extremely fortunate. I would never exaggerate that, ever. I have to absolutely prove myself. And I knew that. I had to absolutely prove myself. There's nothing that I would ever exaggerate about that experience I was able to gain. Put me exactly in the same setting. That's the way. That's the way it's back to but it shouldn't have made any difference where I went, does it? So I'm ready to go back up north. I've had enough of, I will walk away from this, where this type of serious criminal activity is very much incorporated as norm. No, that would never happen in Lake County, nor the Chicagoland North Shore, ever. And there's so much help, but I can't find any, because it's not help. Thank you. I'm looking very forward to, the main thing is to get where the truth always comes out. Thank you. If this is medical all over again, and legal, of course, what a waste. What a complete waste. That's professional management of this country? Now I understand what malpractice, how things like that occur. Thank you. I wouldn't want to know it, though, ever. Ever. I wouldn't want to know about malpractice or anything about falsifying anything. That's not healthy. I don't think that would happen in Lake County myself. I sure hope not.